We come now to verse 5 of the 7th chapter of the Gospel of John. Jesus is in Galilee. He's been working in Galilee, as John puts it, walking in Galilee. And his own brothers, as John puts it, are challenging him as to why he doesn't go to Jerusalem, why he doesn't do some of these magnificent signs of his there where the world can see it. Of course, they're still laboring under the traditional Jewish expectations of a Messiah who's going to come on like gangbusters. Many people had that idea in their minds. We don't know exactly what was in the heads of these brothers. We don't know whether they actually viewed Jesus as the Messiah and thought he was just being a little hesitant, or whether they were skeptical. One thing we do know is that they really weren't on board with the depth of faith in Christ that had been the subject of the conversation that took place in the Bread of Life discourse. We learn that later in the New Testament they do come to be thoroughgoing believers, but at least at this juncture they still have a kind of misguided idea of Jesus, to say the least. And so that really gives rise to the conversation we have here. And John gives us an editorial remark at this point in verse 5 to just drive home that point. Oude is an indeclinable adverb. It means neither nor. It can mean and not. It can be not even, and that's probably the sense of it here. There is a bit of pathos in this whole statement. Not even, postpositive gar, for not even, hoi adelphoi. Not even the brothers autou, genitive pronoun of him. Not even the brothers of him, epistouon. This is the imperfect of the word pisteuo, I believe, third person plural, imperfect, active indicative. Not even his brothers were believing. Eis, preposition takes the genitive here, auton. Not even his brothers were believing in him. The idea is that very few people were. Even the disciples, the 12, had some misconceptions about him. Jesus is in some ways alone here, and you would think these who would have been the first in line to recognize and embrace and entrust themselves to him, even they're holding back. It reminds us of what John said in the first chapter. He came unto his own, and his own did not receive him. Even his own brothers didn't believe in him. So there is a kind of note of sadness about this particular statement, but understandably, that's the way it was at that point, and so it gives rise to the really context for the conversation that John has set before us here.